Morning, Zari. Hey, thanks for asking me to come up and have a chat about what I do. And it's great because a lot of people actually ask me, Tommy, what is it that you do? So I thought this would be a great opportunity to explain and perhaps give a little bit of a demonstration as to how I've built my career up as a designer, I suppose. I'm in the middle of doing a project right now, which is designing a conceptual idea for a tree house for a client. And here's the catch. Number one, we don't have a tree to build this tree house on. So how do we create that illusion of a tree house and give the people that come to stay in a building such as this that I'm designing right now that adventure feeling, slightly dangerous, risque, being up on the roof, all in one with nature, blah, 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 blah. But it's a fantastic idea. But understanding the design process is something that I feel that a lot of people don't get. They don't understand it. I am fortunate enough to have been sent to England, and I studied with some of the best lecturers and teachers there. And I've come back with a really, really good classical understanding of how to conceptualize and extract the final design by developing the actual product from a very linear approach of how to get things done properly, right? So the first thing you do is listen to the client's request very carefully. A lot of people like to show off their eccentricity or personality or just basically show off, which I think is not a good approach, because I've seen this happening again and again and again with young, passionate, enthusiastic designers. I studied fashion, by the way, and it is my opinion that it is one of the hardest industries to get into when it comes to design, because it is so competitive, it is so structured, it is something that you need to plan from many, many years before the final product actually hits the catwalk. So when I studied the design development process of the fashion industry, I feel that it has given me great basis and foundations as to the design process in any industry. And I've taken this training that I've had in the schools and the universities that I went to, and I've applied it into working as a production designer. But it's been step by step by step, from working actually as the coffee boy and sweeping the floors and doing the runner, all the way up to where I am right now, the head of the top of the design pyramid, which is the production designer, and everybody's answerable to me, and the only person that I'm answerable to is the executive producer and the director. Nice position to be in. And but instead of just working in the film industry, where I do prop making, design, concept, locations, and that's another story that I would like to talk about on another date, because otherwise we'll be here all day. I'd like to explain what I do and how I do things, so that when anybody else asks me, Tom, what is it that you do? I say, hey, check out the video. So this is what I call a concept design model, right? It's made from balsa wood, bits of lollipop sticks, foam board. I use glue gun, I use a cutting board, and I use a cutting mat, and bits of plastic to represent glass and stuff like that. Now, why do I do this? Because I actually really hate sitting in front of a computer and creating things in 3D virtually. The way I think is analog. It's basically, I love the practical elements of how I sculpt and design and make things come to into reality. Now, I don't have to depend on anybody that has an extra set of skills, wait for their timeline, wait for their availability, and pay them in order to create something that I could show the clients. Now, SketchUp is a very, very easy software to handle. If I do this in SketchUp, I could create and blah, 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 the list goes on. But the advantage that I have found is the fact that everybody from the X and the Y generation knows how to use SketchUp, but not many people know how to take bits of wood and PVC and create a 3D model. Now, when I'm sitting with the person operating the computer and I say, hey, can you just lower it down and get it from this angle so that I can see the staircase going up and blah, blah, blah. I always get this feeling that, oh God, if lower a bit, left a bit, right a bit, and then, you know, he or she's having to put it in, render, da, 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 da. And I find that the lack of continuity in the actual design process really distracting and really annoying, and I get very frustrated when it takes time and I have to explain it so that they understand exactly. Remove that equation, do it yourself. Who can't cut bits, measure, and make something like this? It looks harder than it actually is, but when I'm sitting there with my clients and they are able to actually see exactly what I have in mind, they know where I'm going to put my shower cubicle, they know where I'm going to put my vanity sink, they know where the bed is basically situated, and how we have the bathtub or jacuzzi is directly in front, so this intimacy of conversation, how we can shut it off, create privacy. The entire Southeast Asian architecture, very inspired by Jeffrey Bawa with the inside-outside living, and the whole Southeast Asian architecture of the airflow that goes from the ground, the chimney air movement suction that will suck the cold air in and expel the hot air. All these elements that actually work really, really well with the traditional Southeast Asian traditional architecture is something that you shouldn't have to fix because it's not broken. It's actually a really good technology that people take for granted, but are quite willing to just flush it down the toilet and throw it away. This is thousands of years of development that actually works with this humidity, this sunlight, this air quality, and blah, 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 blah. And the big problem that we have right now, I suppose, with the open air concept are mosquitoes. But it's not that big a problem like you think. There are plants that repel mosquito. There are areas that you could get rid of water that creates the mosquito larvae in the first place, and this reduces it down to a great deal. But what we're trying to capture here is the advantages of the design concepts that have developed naturally over the years and how it should be applied in the new designs, especially when we are building in the jungle and out of the urban scenario, right? Every hotel has air conditioning. Every hotel has all the chemicals and the synthetic machines that actually create a nice, comfortable environment. But that's not the only way to do it. By taking advantage of natural air movement, mosquito netting, the actual plants that reject these kind of stuff, we take in control the actual menace, that the pest that we find the biggest intrusion into our comfort when we go out and enjoy Southeast Asian environments, right? But I think we're completely sidetracking there. Back to this design process that I am currently working on right now. The design is a process that needs to be put into an environment, and the environment that dictates the what design you come up with, number one, is the location, right? So the accessibility, can you bring a crane up there? Can you build there? Is there electricity? Is there a place where you can actually build this stuff, right? And if it's going to take more than a couple of days to do, where is your team? Where are they going to sleep? What are they going to eat? And these are all the human requirements that a lot of people don't take into account. But all of these things that you need to accommodate will cost, and it needs to come out from the second most important thing within the design concept is the budget and the timeline. How long do we have to actually create this, and how much money can we spend in order to finish this? There are so many hidden costs into the construction of such a building. And will your concept deliver, number one, what the client wants, and number two, in the timeline and the cost and in the location that is provided? These are the factors that you need to put into the actual list of things that you have to consider in order to come up with a great winning design. And when you take all those factors into consideration, and you start by understanding what are the elements in phase one that you need to handle: septic tank, plumbing, electrical, foundation, where the people are going to live and where they're going to work and how they're going to transport what it is that you want there. Can you pick it up there and still weld on the third floor? Probably not, because I don't think you're going to have cables that are long enough, or bring a machine up onto a structure like this so that you can, you see, logistically, that was what makes or breaks any construction. And the inexperienced people will design without taking logistics into consideration, and they will end up screwing the whole thing up, or delaying and blah 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 blah. So based on experience, and let me tell you, I've screwed many projects up too, and the experience that I bring to the table here is so that, watch the design processes and videos, take it from me with the blood, sweat and tears that I've had to pour out, so that you don't have to suffer the same stupidity that I basically, I'm not saying I'm stupid, I'm just saying there's some fucking stupid moves that I've made. Anyway, so taking those factors into consideration, timeline, and the team of people that you can afford to work with. The clients will say, I want best quality, but they won't give you the money, they won't give you the time for you to be able to create it. And with any design builder, design construct, quality, time, money, the triangle of your finished product, right? It's brilliant to have any project that gives you the money in order for you to create the great quality in the time that you have to do it in. And if all three are on your side, you've got your dream job. Chances are 99% of the time, one of those factors is not going to be on your side, right? So when you as a designer understand the benefits and the shortcomings of the job right from the offset, right? There are no surprises. There are no surprises for you, and there are no surprises for the client. And even before you even start construction or doing the structural engineering drawing, the client knows exactly what you're offering them, and there's no gray area, right? So put it this way: if you've got a piece of land and you want to build a house, or you've got a house that you want to fill it with something, or your renovation or anything like that, the easiest thing to do is to create it on this scale, which, by the way, I work on a weird scale. I mix metric and imperial together. 1 centimeter equals 1 foot of scale. I know it's like jumping from one scale to the other, but I find that it works for me. I find that the raw materials that you get in order to build models and even to build the real thing, most material sheets come at 4 feet by 8 feet square or rectangle, right? And a lot of these materials that I use to build, you buy lolly sticks, you buy chopsticks, buy whatever it is, in order, the 1 centimeter to 1 foot, usually you'd have to work to 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, blah blah blah. These, it's perfect. Even your cutting mat of sitting down scale 30 centimeters, 20, 30 feet material. Anyway, it works for me. So when you look at this, right, so you know that 1 centimeter equals 1 feet, that's 10 feet. That's about 7 to 8 feet tall. Looking at it, you know, okay, proportionately whether it works or not. I've been working with this scale for so long, I'm not about to change it. So, right, where were we scale-wise? I tell you what, I'll take a break here. I'm gonna have a little drink and freshen my brain, and then we'll get straight back to this.